5:15 in the morning on Saturday. Pat Steiger of Laurel will be in Mexico tonight, hoping to save enough on her medication to pay for her plane trip, stay in a hotel, and flight back to the Billings airport. 14 other senior citizens on this trip hope the same thing. When the flight arrives in Salt Lake City, we start to find out just why they're crossing the border.
The months that I get by with $600 at the pharmacy, that is because I don't get all my medicine.
You know, when you're on a fixed income, it's pretty nice to be able to get medication at a much cheaper price.
Most of these seniors can't even afford to take their medication as directed.
I do cut down a little bit on now. This last 2 weeks, I cut back on a couple medicines till I get down there to buy them today.
There'll be times instead of taking them every day, I'll take them every other day.
In Phoenix, the group boards a van, which will take them on a 3-hour trip to Nogales, Mexico. The nearest pharmacy is less than 100 yards in once they cross the border, and a few blocks down, the trip pays off.
There's 80 drugstores on this street, so I'm sure we'll find it.
The deals are incredible to these seniors. Almost everyone finds they save more than enough money to pay for their trip.
I'll be saving at least $1,000, maybe more.
You can legally take back to the U.S. a 3-month supply of personal medication. You simply need to show the pharmacist your prescription, which they then fill. It's such a big business. You see a pharmacy on almost every corner, with substantial savings over U.S. counterparts. Let's take a look at an example of what Jean and Bruce Wente pay in Montana. This receipt from the Lewistown pharmacy shows Flomax for blood pressure costs $47 in the U.S. and only $25 in Mexico. For a Flovent asthma inhaler, $65. In Mexico, it costs $18. And for big savings, 30 capsules of Prilosec for ulcers runs $111 U.S. 28 capsules in Mexico cost the Wentes $26.
Es possible otra farmacia, telefono? Telefono, see?
This isn't news to the man organizing the trip, U.S. Senate hopeful Brian Schweitzer. You see, at the center of this issue is a heated political debate.
We want to force Congress to make the pharmaceutical companies sell the medicine to pharmacies in Montana for the same price as this pharmacy in Mexico.
Will this have any effect, these bus trips, on making Congress do anything?
I think, I don't know. I don't know what it is. We're going to do what we're going to do. Irrespective, and I'm going to do what's right for Montana and the people in Montana.
Schweitzer says medication is so much cheaper south of the border because the pharmaceutical companies charge less to foreign pharmacies than they do to those in the U.S. And Congress passed a law in 1987 that won't let U.S. pharmacies buy drugs from across the border and pass that savings on. Burns agrees with his opponent Schweitzer that U.S. pharmacies should be allowed to buy imported drugs if FDA approved, and he agrees pharmaceutical companies should reduce U.S. prices. They differ in the fact Schweitzer wants Medicare to pay for prescription drugs. Burns doesn't want to push it for fear, he says, it will break Medicare altogether. But people like Pat Steiger don't care about the political aspect. All they know is they're paying too much.
They have to change the laws, like I said, somehow. I'm not quite that informed on it like I should be, except I know we pay a lot of money for what we get.
I'd say you better start letting the people have this medication at a lower price, or they'll all go to Canada or Mexico. I know I will.
And with one exception, every other senior on the trip says when their 3 months of medications run out, they will indeed make another run for the border. In Nogales, Mexico, Cyrus Pearson for Color 8.